The relationship between Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers is falling apart, and it might be beyond repair. After 5 seasons together, the 49ers are reportedly frustrated with their star wide receiver over issues that have been building for months. This could be the end of what once looked like a promising partnership. Aiyuk tore his ACL and MCL last season, a devastating injury that landed him on the physically unable to perform list back in July. Coach Kyle Shanahan said in August that Aiyuk might return as soon as October. But here we are, and he still hasn't been reactivated by the team. Behind the scenes, things have gotten messy. According to reports, Aiyuk has failed to participate in team meetings and other team activities over the past couple months. The 49ers are particularly frustrated with his lack of communication. When your team doesn't know what's going on with you, that's a major problem. The situation got even more serious when San Francisco voided the guaranteed money in Aiyuk's contract for next season. They're saying his absences qualify as a failure to fulfill his contract obligations. That's a massive move that speaks volumes about how bad things have gotten. Aiyuk is set to have a cap hit of over $15 million next season. That's significant money for a player who isn't showing up and isn't communicating with the organization. Here's where it gets really interesting. Aiyuk told the NFL Players Association that he doesn't want to file a grievance against the team's decision to void his guaranteed money. That basically opens the door for San Francisco to release him at the end of the season without major complications. Remember, this is the same player who signed a 4-year, $120 million contract after a breakout season in 2023. That deal ended a dramatic holdout and weeks of trade speculation. Aiyuk even admitted afterward that he made the process more difficult than it needed to be. The irony here is painful. San Francisco fought to keep him, paid him massive money, and now, less than 2 years later, they're potentially headed for a divorce. Before his injury, Aiyuk played 7 games last season. He was actually pretty efficient despite limited action, catching 25 passes for 374 yards. Those numbers ranked 5th on the team in receiving stats, which is impressive considering he played half as many games as most of his teammates. That production makes this situation even more frustrating for both sides. When healthy, Aiyuk is a legitimate weapon in San Francisco's offense. But talent doesn't matter if you're not available and not communicating. The 49ers seem to want to salvage this relationship as recently as last week. General Manager John Lynch said the team's intention is to get Brandon back. But intentions don't mean much when trust has broken down. This situation raises bigger questions about player-team relationships and what happens when communication completely breaks down. Aiyuk is recovering from major knee surgery. That's a long, difficult process, both physically and mentally. But professional obligations don't disappear because recovery is hard. San Francisco has legitimate championship aspirations. They need everyone locked in and available. A star receiver who isn't showing up to meetings or staying in contact with the coaching staff creates problems that go beyond just one position. The timing couldn't be worse for Aiyuk's career. He's 27 years old, coming off a major injury, and now dealing with character questions about his professionalism. That's not the narrative any player wants heading toward free agency or potential trades. For the 49ers, this is about setting standards. If they let this slide, what message does that send to the rest of the roster? Organizations have to draw lines somewhere, even with talented players. The next few weeks will tell us everything. Either Aiyuk returns, rebuilds trust, and salvages his 49ers career, or this partnership ends after what should have been the beginning of his prime years in San Francisco.